Have you ever found yourself reflecting on the lessons that life delivers too late? Do you wonder what truths could save you years of struggle and wasted effort if you learned them now? You are not alone. Many of us live years in the dark, unknowingly repeating the same mistakes, delaying action, or chasing illusions of happiness. But what if you could bypass those regrets and understand life from a new perspective, one rooted in timeless wisdom? This video reveals 7 critical lessons from Stoicism that, if understood and practiced, will transform how you navigate life. These are not mere ideas. They are principles that, when embraced, offer clarity, resilience, and peace of mind, even in the face of adversity. These lessons, gathered from centuries of Stoic thought, will challenge your assumptions, provoke introspection, and, most importantly, provide tools for living a life of purpose and integrity. Let's dive into these lessons that people often learn too late and see how adopting them now can change everything. 1. You can't control others, only your response. How often do you find yourself frustrated because others do not behave the way you expect them to? Perhaps you feel disappointed when someone breaks a promise or angered by an insult thrown your way. But ask yourself this: how much of your time is wasted trying to change what is outside of your control? The first lesson that Stoicism teaches is this: you cannot control the actions of others, only your response to them. Consider how liberating that simple truth can be. If you accept that people will act according to their own nature, motives, and understanding, then you free yourself from the emotional turbulence caused by their actions. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, reminds us, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Do you find yourself reacting to events impulsively, letting emotions dictate your actions? Stoicism calls us to pause. Before reacting to an external event, step back and ask yourself, is this within my control? If the answer is no, then it is not worth your peace. Only your own mind, your thoughts, and your choices are yours to command. This doesn't mean indifference to others. Rather, it is about mastering yourself. Imagine the power of being unshaken by someone else's words or actions. Imagine the freedom that comes from releasing the need to control situations that are beyond your reach. What would that look like in your daily life? This lesson isn't about suppressing your emotions, but training yourself to respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively. Emotions are part of human nature, but Stoicism teaches us that we can observe them without letting them control us. Acknowledge your feelings, but do not be their slave. By practicing this self-discipline, you cultivate a sense of inner peace that remains steady regardless of external circumstances. Reflect on the relationships in your life. How many conflicts stem from the desire to control or change others? How much suffering could you alleviate if you let go of that desire and focused solely on your response? Once you understand this, you realize that true power lies within, not in controlling others, but in mastering yourself. To live by this principle is to free yourself from endless frustration. When you shift your focus to what is within your control, you become unshakable in a world full of uncertainty. This is the essence of Stoicism, inner strength that is unaffected by the chaos of the external world. But what happens when you let go of the need to control others? That brings us to the next lesson: the danger of overthinking and how it can ruin the peace you've worked so hard to maintain. 2. Overthinking destroys inner peace. How often do you find yourself lying awake at night, replaying conversations, second-guessing decisions, or imagining worst-case scenarios? Overthinking is a silent thief, robbing us of our peace, our focus, and our ability to act. But why do we overthink? What drives us to mentally rehearse every possibility, even when it brings no benefit? Stoicism offers a powerful insight. Overthinking stems from a desire to control outcomes that are beyond our grasp. When we overanalyze situations, we are, in essence, trying to predict and manage the future. But as Stoicism teaches us, the future is not ours to control. Epictetus, another great Stoic philosopher, said, "Don't demand that things happen as you wish, but wish that they happen as they do, and you will go on well." Do you realize how much time is lost in speculation, in anxiety about things that may never come to pass? Overthinking does not lead to better decisions. It leads to paralysis. When you overthink, you distort the situation in your mind, creating problems where none exist, magnifying difficulties, and ultimately losing your sense of perspective. Imagine how much lighter your mind would feel if you simply let go of the need to control every detail. Ask yourself, what am I worrying about that is outside of my control? Once you identify it, release it. Trust that you will handle whatever comes your way with the same strength and clarity that has brought you through challenges before. Stoicism teaches us to focus on the present moment. The past cannot be changed, and the future is uncertain. Overthinking keeps us trapped in a state of inaction, paralyzed by fears of what might happen rather than taking meaningful steps forward. By grounding ourselves in the present, we regain control over our minds and can act with purpose and clarity. The next time you catch yourself spiraling into overthinking, pause and ask, what is within my control right now? Direct your energy toward what you can influence and let go of the rest. This mental discipline takes practice, but over time, you'll notice that you feel calmer, more focused, and better able to make decisions without the burden of constant second-guessing. As you release the chains of overthinking, you begin to experience a sense of peace that is rooted in accepting the present moment for what it is. And once you cultivate that peace, you'll be ready to face another hard truth about life. Pain is a teacher, and it often delivers the most valuable lessons we need to learn. 3. Pain is a teacher. Pain is something we all try to avoid. Yet, despite our best efforts, it is an unavoidable part of life. Whether physical, emotional, or psychological, pain arrives uninvited and stays as long as it pleases. But what if we changed our relationship with pain? What if, instead of seeing it as an enemy, we saw it as a teacher? Stoicism teaches us that pain is not inherently bad. It is simply a signal that something requires our attention. Whether it is a change in our behavior, a re-evaluation of our goals, or an adjustment in our mindset. Difficulty shows what men are, wrote Epictetus. Pain reveals our strengths, and more often than not, our resilience. Ask yourself, how has pain shaped who you are today? What lessons have you learned from the most challenging moments of your life? Too often we are quick to curse pain, but in hindsight, we recognize that it is through our hardest trials that we grow the most. It is in the crucible of suffering that we discover our inner strength and wisdom. Yet many people spend their lives running from pain, numbing it, avoiding it, or pretending it isn't there. But Stoicism reminds us that to live well, we must confront our pain head-on. We must allow it to teach us what we need to know. Whether it is the loss of a loved one, the end of a relationship, or a failure at work, pain always brings with it a lesson, if we are willing to listen. The next time you experience pain, instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" ask, "What can I learn from this?" Shifting your perspective in this way transforms pain from something to be feared into something to be embraced. It doesn't mean that the pain disappears, but it does mean that you no longer resist it. You let it pass through you, knowing that on the other side, you will emerge stronger and wiser. Pain, after all, is a part of the human experience. It connects us to others, reminds us of our vulnerability, and teaches us compassion. When we understand pain's role in our growth, we stop fearing it. We accept it as a necessary part of our journey. If you've stayed with me this far, I encourage you to keep watching. The next few lessons will reveal even more about how Stoicism can help you navigate life's challenges. Stay with me until the end. You won't regret it. But before we move on, consider this. What if the time you spent in pain was the time you grew the most? Would you still see it as something to avoid, or would you start to recognize it as the teacher it is? Now, let's explore another common trap that many of us fall into: comparison. It is a thief that steals our joy and derails our progress. 4. Comparison is the thief of joy. Have you ever found yourself scrolling through social media, feeling a pang of envy as you compare your life to the lives of others? Do you wonder why you haven't achieved the same level of success, happiness, or recognition as those around you? This tendency to compare is common, but it is one of the most damaging habits we can adopt. Stoicism teaches us that comparison is not only futile, but destructive to our inner peace. Consider this. Every time you compare yourself to someone else, you are measuring your worth against external factors that you have no control over. You are looking at someone else's life from the outside, not knowing their full story, their struggles, or their pain. How can you accurately compare your journey to theirs when you don't know what they've been through or what challenges they face behind closed doors? The Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." When you focus on comparing yourself to others, you allow envy, frustration, and dissatisfaction to take root in your mind. These negative emotions cloud your judgment and make it difficult to appreciate your own progress and achievements. Why do we compare ourselves to others? Is it because we believe their success diminishes our own? Is it because we fear that we are not enough? Stoicism encourages us to look inward for validation, not outward. True contentment comes from recognizing your unique path and focusing on your own growth, not on how you measure up to others. Ask yourself, what would change in your life if you stopped comparing yourself to others? How much more peace could you find if you focused on your own journey and ignored the noise of external validation? Stoicism teaches that your worth is not determined by the opinions of others or by how your life compares to someone else's. It is determined by how well you live in alignment with your values, how you handle adversity, and how you grow through challenges. Imagine a life where you are no longer distracted by the accomplishments or failures of others. A life where you wake up each day focused solely on becoming a better version of yourself, free from the need to compete or compare. This is the life that Stoicism offers, a life rooted in self-acceptance, growth, and inner peace. The next time you find yourself slipping into comparison, stop and reflect. Remind yourself that every person's journey is different and that the only person you should compare yourself to is who you were yesterday. Progress, not perfection, is the goal. As the Stoics believed, life is not a competition against others, but a continuous effort to improve oneself. With that shift in perspective, you can reclaim your joy and begin to appreciate your own unique journey. And once you've let go of the need to compare, you'll be ready to embrace another powerful Stoic principle: gratitude. It is the key to attracting more of what you want in life. 5. Gratitude attracts more to be grateful for. Gratitude attracts more to be grateful for. How often do you pause to reflect on the things you are grateful for? In our fast-paced lives, it is easy to focus on what we lack rather than what we have. We constantly strive for more success, more money, more recognition, but this constant striving blinds us to the abundance that already exists in our lives. Stoicism teaches us that the more we practice gratitude, the more we attract things to be grateful for. It is a mindset shift that transforms how we see the world. Instead of focusing on what is missing, we begin to see the richness in what we already have. As Seneca once said, True happiness is to enjoy the present without anxious dependence upon the future. Gratitude is not just a fleeting feeling, it is a practice that must be cultivated daily. When you wake up in the morning, what is the first thought that crosses your mind? Is it one of gratitude for the gift of a new day, or is it a worry about the tasks ahead? Stoicism encourages us to start each day with a sense of appreciation, recognizing that life itself is a gift, and everything beyond that is a bonus. Ask yourself, how would your life change if you focused on what you are grateful for rather than what you lack? How would your perspective shift if, instead of chasing more, you took a moment to appreciate what you already have? Gratitude is not just about saying thank you for the big things. It's about noticing the small moments of joy, peace, and contentment that make life meaningful. Consider this. Even in moments of hardship, there is something to be grateful for. Perhaps it is the strength you've gained from overcoming adversity, the lessons you've learned from failure, or the support of loved ones who stood by you. Stoicism teaches us that gratitude is not dependent on external circumstances. It is a state of mind that we can choose, even in difficult times. The next time you catch yourself dwelling on what you don't have, stop and make a conscious effort to list the things you are grateful for. You might be surprised at how quickly this simple practice can shift your mood and bring a sense of peace to your day. And now, I'd love to hear from you. What are you grateful for today? Take a moment to reflect and leave a comment below. Let's start a conversation about how practicing gratitude has impacted your life. With gratitude in your heart, you can approach life with a sense of abundance rather than scarcity. And once you've mastered the art of gratitude, you'll be ready to face another powerful Stoic lesson: the importance of mastering your thoughts, for your thoughts shape your reality. 6. Your thoughts shape your reality. Have you ever considered how much influence your thoughts have over your experience of life? Do you realize that your thoughts, more than any external factor, determine your reality? Stoicism teaches that everything begins and ends in the mind. What you choose to focus on and how you interpret the world around you shapes your experience of life. Everything we hear is an opinion, not a fact. Everything we see is a perspective, not the truth, wrote Marcus Aurelius. This profound insight reminds us that our thoughts are not always objective truths, but interpretations of reality. Yet, these interpretations have the power to shape our emotions, our actions, and ultimately, our lives. Ask yourself, how often do you let negative thoughts dictate your actions? Do you find yourself caught in cycles of worry, fear, or self-doubt? Stoicism teaches that while we cannot always control the thoughts that enter our minds, we can control how much power we give them. Just because a thought arises doesn't mean it is true, and it certainly doesn't mean it has to control your behavior. One of the key practices in Stoicism is to examine your thoughts and question their validity. Are they based on facts, or are they simply stories you've created in your mind? By becoming aware of the narratives you tell yourself, you can begin to separate reality from fiction. This awareness gives you the power to choose which thoughts to nurture and which to discard. Imagine the freedom of being able to master your mind, to choose thoughts that empower you rather than those that hold you back. How different would your life be if, instead of being a victim of negative thinking, you became the master of your inner world? The Stoics believed that our thoughts are like seeds. Whatever we plant in the garden of our minds will eventually grow. If you plant seeds of doubt, fear, and negativity, those will be the fruits you harvest. But if you plant seeds of confidence, resilience, and gratitude, your life will reflect those qualities. The next time you catch yourself spiraling into negative thinking, pause and ask, is this thought helpful? Is it rooted in reality, or is it just a product of my fears? By questioning your thoughts, you take the first step toward mastering them. This mental discipline is a cornerstone of Stoicism and it leads to a life of greater clarity, peace, and purpose. As you cultivate this practice, you'll realize that your thoughts truly shape your reality. And once you've gained mastery over your mind, you can begin to live in the present moment, free from the regrets of the past and the anxieties of the future. 7. Life happens now, not tomorrow. How often do you find yourself delaying action, waiting for the perfect moment to pursue your goals or make important decisions? Do you catch yourself saying, "I'll start tomorrow," or "I'll get to it when things settle down"? The truth is, tomorrow never comes. Life happens now, and Stoicism teaches us that the present moment is all we truly have. One of the most powerful lessons of Stoicism is the reminder that time is fleeting. We often live as if we have all the time in the world, putting off important decisions, relationships, and actions because we believe there will always be a better time. But as the Stoic philosopher Seneca wrote, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it." Ask yourself, what are you waiting for? What are you putting off because you believe there will be more time later? Stoicism teaches us that the future is uncertain, and the only time we can truly count on is the present moment. Every day you delay taking action is a day lost forever. When you live with this awareness, you begin to appreciate the urgency of the present. You stop waiting for the perfect circumstances to take action and start making the most of the time you have right now. You realize that life doesn't wait for you to be ready. It keeps moving, whether you take part in it or not. Think about the goals you have set for yourself. Are you actively working toward them, or are you waiting for the right moment to begin? The Stoics remind us that there is no right moment. There is only now. The perfect time to start is always the present. Living in the present doesn't mean acting impulsively or without thought. It means recognizing that the only moment you have any influence over is this one. Instead of dwelling on past mistakes or anxiously anticipating the future, Stoicism teaches us to focus on what we can do today to move closer to our goals. As you reflect on this lesson, ask yourself, what am I putting off? What can I do today that will bring me closer to the life I want to live? Remember, life happens now, not tomorrow, not next week, but in this very moment. Embrace it. Each lesson carries with it an invitation to live with greater intention, to align your actions with your values, and to take responsibility for your own happiness and growth. Stoicism reminds us that we are not passive participants in life. We are active creators of our destiny through our thoughts, actions, and responses. But these lessons only hold power if you apply them. Reading them is not enough. Thinking about them is not enough. You must put them into practice in your daily life. As the Stoics believed, philosophy is not an intellectual exercise. It is a way of living. If this video has resonated with you, if these Stoic lessons have given you a new perspective on life, I invite you to take a moment to like the video, share it with someone who could benefit from these timeless teachings, and subscribe to the channel. By doing so, you're not only supporting this content, but also taking a step toward living a more intentional and resilient life. Stoicism is a journey, a daily practice of self-reflection, growth, and mastery. By subscribing, you'll ensure that you don't miss out on future videos that can help you continue this journey, deepening your understanding of Stoic principles and applying them in your life. Thank you for watching, reflecting, and engaging with these ideas. As the Stoics taught us, we cannot control the external world, but we can control how we respond to it. May you find strength, peace, and wisdom on your path, and may these lessons help guide you toward a life of purpose and fulfillment. Wishing you all the best in your Stoic journey.